In this quick video, I wanted to answer a question that was out on the Jet message boards. A user had posted that they currently have their data set up in this format where it looks like an individual record has the account and the cost center and the beginning of the year, and then as separate fields has values that they need. Well, what they really want to do is be able to see it in a different type of format rather than what the ERP is displaying. They would like to be able to list it. So here's all the accounts, each of the quarters, along with the values. Now the values I've blocked out for privacy purposes. I know it's posted on the message board, but I wanted to still be with that. And then we can see the category is the first part of the field name, and the type is the second part of it. And so I wanted to offer up a solution for this that utilizes a little bit of a trickery and some Excel functionality in order to get what they need. So the first thing I did is I set up a quick little report option. The only thing we're going to do here is the year. I'm sure he has many more filters, but for the most part, just to get this ball rolling, year is going to be enough. Now I've built my little table down here for quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and this is to match their end of their values here, quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. And because I'm in the US, my Excel wants to format in US date format, but this is the end of each of those quarters, which also matches their values that you can see right here that they're hoping to generate. So and I built this dynamically so we can use the date function. So when this becomes 2025, you'll notice that this updates to 2025 or 2024 or whatever you might need. Now here's my solution. I'm going to just start off with a very simple rows replicator straight out of my GL account. I don't have cost centers and I don't have these custom fields that the end user has here. But I could see that they had a detail list. Right here's a list of records from the GL account. I can pull the number and I can pull the assets from there. Okay, and when I run this report, what do I get? Well, similar to what the end user was showing in their starting point, they're going to end up with one row per account, and I get the account number and the name. Now they would have the additional values going across, but again, I don't have those. So here's what we're going to do. Here's how we generate kind of this grid or this list format, as they say. I'm going to use what's called a field cache, and I'm going to create it right here. So I'm going to open up my NL function, and I'm going to create another rows replicator. Now, I am usually generally opposed to using rows and rows on the same row because you generate, what do you get? Every combination of those values, the combination of those values. In this case, this is what we want. Thankfully, our table is really small. Now, I don't really have a table in the database, but what can I do? For the table, I can specify a range of values. Okay? Let's lock those references down. I don't need to specify a field or any other filters. In fact, even if I wanted to, we can see because this is not a physical table in the database, it's really just a series of values. I'm going to hit OK and go back to our solution. Now I've put this little line here so we can see what's really happening. When I run this report, we can see that as it goes through, we have quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and all of the 1000s, and then it starts again. And then it starts again. So I believe this is what the end user is after. Okay, so, well, I need to get those dates. His data only has the starts. Well, this is where we can use Excel. Let me take off this line here because that's a little bit distracting. We'll say no border. And for the date, I'm going to just use a simple VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP. Now you could do this as an if statement if you wanted to, but I'm a fan of the VLOOKUP. I'm going to say look for that value in this little table I've created right here. I am going to lock that reference down. I want the second field in there, the second column, and I want false. I want it to be an exact match. And when we change this to a short date, and again, let's test this out. Let's run it. And we should now have, not only do we have quarter one, quarter three, quarter four, we have those dates and we can see them repeating. So we're getting really close. Okay. Now within his report, we had the category and the type. it looked like, this is where I don't know enough about the data, but I can make some guesses. The category, it seemed like it was always this value, and the type always seemed to be this value. Okay. Now, well, and again, we'll run it and test it to make sure. I'm just pasting these values in. They're hard-coded, and they will just always be those values, right? There's no lookup or anything like that. But the value we can see that it wants to pull back is a combination of that first part, that second part, and the quarter. So what I would normally do is I would create an NF statement here. Right? I would point at that key, and my field value would be a combination. It would be this value, let's say that, and it's got a space, so we'll put a space, and this value, and another space, and finally quarter one, right? So now this is generating, we can see, just looking at the preview, that value, and because we're looking at this value here, it will constantly change. Now I'm going to get an error message because that field doesn't exist, but when I run that report, I would be able to then pull back that value. Right? We can see, I can look at this, it will say there's no such thing as quarter two, there's no such thing as quarter three, and finally there's no such thing as quarter four. So once that in his database, once this is running in his, he should start seeing these values, and so now we will have it in that format that he is after with the account, cost center, date, the value, and then the category and type. So that's all I want to record today. So Matthias, I hope that helped you and gets you what you need. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and have yourself a great day.